Larissa was going in for a routine day surgery to have a pacemaker fitted, which also doubled as a defibrillator. The usual standard surgery was about to become a lot more than just the standard for Larissa, as well as for the doctors and nurses. First thing I remember is the screams, her scream. Since it was so quiet in the waiting room, to hear that first scream, we all sort of just jumped up and came out to the corridor, and they were wheeling Larissa in her bed down to her room. I think we must have been waiting near her room because rushed her in there. And what had happened is the medication that she'd been given, general local anaesthetic, I guess she just has a really, really high resistance to it because it wore off and she woke up hours before she was supposed to. So she woke up and they were only just finishing suturing up the wound, and she immediately felt all that pain straight away. So they had to finish up really quickly, get her back to her room, and the doctors were discussing about the different medications that they could give her. They were going over everything that they'd given her already, because they've got to be careful not to give her like an overdose amount of the painkillers. But they eventually found something to give her, and they calmed her down. And I think the thing that I remember the most, or the thing that stuck out, was one of the nurses, she had to leave. She had to leave the room. And I'm sure I seen her, and she was crying. I think doctors and nurses, they have to distance themselves from their patients, but we're all human, and I think for that nurse to see Larissa in that much pain, and Larissa was just apologising amongst the cries of pain because she felt like she was overreacting. But they got her sorted very quickly, got her the painkillers that she needed, and then as soon as it had happened, it was all over and she was asleep and resting. Having a pacemaker, which was also a defibrillator, in the rare case her heart stopped, had been a real help in getting her arrhythmia under control. But Larissa still had Hokum, and a treatment had been discussed and talked about. Larissa was going to need surgery, open heart surgery.